Everybody is late. Oh, got a new subscriber. Someone by the name of Ezra Briarhip. That ring a bell?
That little guy? I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
Heard he's got a huge back, though. Just absolutely jacked. Hi, Jana. I think we should give Danger awesome points to have Jana play the harp.
Hi.
Hi.
Have you been playing the harp like since childhood, or is it something you picked up?
I started as a teenager. And
That's
I'll
wild.
admit, I kind of haven't played in a little while. But I want to start again. I just have not.
Where did you find one to play?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I started playing.
You stole one?
No, I was being a teenage
Oh.
shithead. As teenagers are wont to be. My mom said you could play any instrument you want, and I was like, any instrument? And she was like, any instrument. Because my violin teacher was moving to Texas to become a chiropractor. So,
As one does.
Yeah.
as one does.
That's how it tracks, yep.
So I was trying to think of the most difficult instrument. And then she made the mistake of waiting 2 weeks to ask me if I was sure that I really wanted to play. And by that time I was like, I want to play the harp. I've always wanted to play the harp.
Mm-hmm.
So it was.
So your mother stole one.
It was entirely me being an asshole as a teenager and self-inflicted.
But you did it. You played the fucking harp.
Oh yeah, I did it.
Nice.
I mean, technically I still do it, sort of.
Yeah.
In name.
I mean, the fact that you were like a shitty teenager that was like, oh yeah, get me a harp. And then your parents were like, fine, here's a fucking harp. And you were like, well, I guess I gotta play it now.
Right? I mean, they called my bluff, which, it's not the worst way that story could have gone.
It's true. The banana
Did they keep
one.
harping on about it?
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Hey,
put him on the board.
I'll throw myself out.
You guys have a good night.
The question from the crowd is, what songs did you learn out of spite?
I mean, I played with an orchestra for a couple of years, so like I did like Irish, like green sleeves and stuff for a bit, and then I joined an orchestra and I had to learn how to actually like read music in both clefs. Like they were like, "Sure, you can join the orchestra. You're the only youth harpist." And I was like, "Fantastic." And then they were like, "You need to be able to read music in bass clef." And I was like, but I learned.
Wait, why both? Wait, does it play in both clefs? I don't get it.
It's like a piano. It's like a piano, only extremely temperamental and weird and rare and harder to
Like if
play.
a piano was a real asshole.
Yes, that is a really good description of a harp.
Yeah,
Here we
I
go.
mean, a harp is just a naked piano.
Garrison Keillor once described it as trying to move a harp as like trying to get an elderly parent in and out of a car. And like just trying to get someone who's real difficult to do absolutely anything. And also, after 20 minutes, it'll be out of tune.
Yeah. I mean, most grandparents are out of tune anyway. So.
Fair.
Look at this. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to see your faces. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. You're all Irish today. Is that you guys okay with that?
I mean, I guess.
Uh, all right.
I mean,
Well,
have we all driven snakes out of our houses today? I mean,
Draconians. They like
yeah.
snakes.
my son asked me what, or maybe it was my dad. I can't remember. One of my kids in the car asked me what St. Patrick's Day was all about, and
The
and
holiday of poor choices is what you answered.
yeah, I had a real hard time sort of answering that. I was like, well, St. Patrick drove all the snakes out of Ireland, and they were like, he did? And I was like, not really. It's just a story that people tell because they want an excuse to behave badly. And they were like, that seemed to me. They were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And my son was
It
like,
doesn't work with the cops. I've tried. You just like, I'm driving snakes out, officer. Leave me alone.
well,
Please.
yeah. My son's idea of behaving badly was like fart a lot in public, and I was like, yes, pretty much, yeah. All right. So who would like to do recap today on this glorious St. Patrick's Day edition of Dungeons and Dragons?
Glorious.
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to run to the bathroom so somebody else has to do it.
Way to dump it on us.
Oh, wouldn't it be great if
I'll
you'd
throw
gotten
myself
up?
out again.
If you'd gotten up with no pants on, that would have been the best.
I don't know.
What'd you guys do last time?
Made a lot of bad decisions.
We did.
Prepping for tonight. All I remember is something about a muffin dragon and finding some cool writing that was about a story from when I was a child.
Yeah, but that was during downtime.
That was during downtime. Come on, some important stuff happened last time. Who remembers? If you don't remember, there's a whole document which is notes that people take for the session.
Well, we lost a dear friend, and all we have is his finger. And we got back, and his dad showed up, and was just basically setting people on fire. It seemed like
Just a couple times.
just a couple times. That makes
Just a couple
that makes
people.
makes it okay.
We killed 37
Doesn't make it-
Draconians.
We did
Yeah, on our way back, they were ambushing us in the mountains, so we
counter ambush them.
ambushed their ambush. Took
And
care of
then
them
there was
pretty easily.
The nighttime excursion.
It was an ambush Mobius strip of sorts.
And we talked to gods. It
Right.
was cool.
Oh yeah, we talked to the gods.
And you
And
Oh,
guys
yeah.
they gave us presents and ultimatums. And we've got to get a pact. We got to free some slaves, and I have to kill the dragon. So I can't be stupid, which is very against my character in general, in game and out of game.
Well, I think that covers a lot of it. You managed to get the 500 free people
Yep.
to Wonder, right?
we lost a handful though, right, on the way.
You did. You lost a handful. And you talked to some gods. You killed some draconians. There was the finger incident, which we don't have to talk about.
Mm.
Yeah, happy St. Patty's Day. Uh, and then at the end of the session, you were, let's say, you encountered a couple of very angry, large blue ogres. Right? One of whom demanded to know where his son was, and that's sort of where we left off. Okay, let's do this first.
Initiative?
Does anybody want to fill anything in that I left out, or talk about downtime?
I'll mention some downtime things. For our loyal viewers, of which there are currently 2 other than myself on the Twitch stream. Great job. Thanks for showing up on a weekly basis, viewers. In our downtime, Owen who is very good at stumbling upon things, stumbled upon a carved set of runes that were in one of the walls around the town, in an area that hadn't been covered with ice yet. Owen asked for some help figuring out what it was from one of the one of the cousins first, and then me, and then Galadis, and none of us had any idea. It's almost as if there was some sort of like randomized dice roll that we did a bad job on or something.
We really did.
Even with Owen's help. And then when we called Kiggy over, Kiggy announced that it seemed to be death magic that would kill an ogre. But it appeared to be carved on backwards, and we don't know what that means. Jana, you found out that 4-7 wandered off and disappeared. Elven scouts were sent to try to find 4-7, and she walked to the edge of a cliff. We're not sure, or at least I am not sure if it's the bottom or the top of the cliff, and then the footsteps disappeared. So, we don't know what happened to 4-7. The dog is.
Can I just interrupt you real quick and say, I'm really proud of the fact that when I said the edge of a cliff, you didn't assume it was the top of the cliff, because I've never thought about the bottom of the cliff as also being the edge of the cliff, but it is. Go on.
Well, it's a difference between flying or a secret tunnel.
Yeah.
Disagree. I think that the edge is obviously the top, and the bottom of the cliff is the bottom.
Both are
Very
edges,
good.
though.
The wall of the cliff?
See? Jana knows.
Why are we edging cliffs, guys?
What's the difference
Ugh.
between a
cliff's
crevasse
almost
and
there.
a crevice? Anyway, and Lermenion, or Lerm for short, is hanging out with what's the name of the Minotaur? It's here. I
Becky?
just can't see it. Becky and smelling cat butts and stuff like that.
As dogs do.
And friendly reminder for those of us that might have forgotten, Kiggy and Starlbrand are siblings. Wonder who forgot that.
I think we all did.
Dumbass.
I didn't forget it. You guys are messing up in downtime.
Listen, I'm just trying to get Kiggy and Jorth to go on a date.
Also, absolutely no luck finding magical items around town for Dirk and myself.
Also, Jorth does not have game.
It wasn't Jorth. It was.
Sorry. Yeah.
Jorth was the son, but yeah. Okay, so you are left off with two. Oh, you know what? I have photos for you guys. Let me get these out. I'll post them in the general
Pictures
chat.
or it isn't true.
So I'm gonna post a photo of the one first. This is the first photo. This is the very angry, terrifying blue ogre that asked you where his son was. Can you see that image?
It's on the art tab, correct?
No,
a
it's in
lot
the general tab.
skinnier than I thought he was. I need to be a
Yeah.
little broader. You know?
Yeah,
More.
he does. He looks very serious, though. Also,
Are those wings? Does he have fairy wings? Does he have ogre fairy wings? Just little ones?
No, that's stuff that's behind him.
Oh, sure.
And then this is the ogre that is accompanying him.
that might be the one that lit people on fire.
Okay,
Think that-
friends.
But the first one is the one who said, "What happened to my son?"
Yes.
It's fucking Sauron the ogre.
Galadis, you're from here. Do you want to handle this one? Can you try to?
I think their
Explain.
downtime was excellent this week, for what it's worth.
I mean, I guess I can.
I prepare to heal Galadis.
Okay, so they're both standing in front of you. The bald one, who is terrifying, has just said, "Where is my son?"
So we don't know where your son is. We're trying to find him right now. He was opening a gate, or a whatever you call them, to help us get armies here, and we haven't seen him since. But we're trying to find him.
Your son has been aiding us. His assistance has been vital as we work to try to save this city.
Your son is Starlbrand, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That is a good clarification. Thank you, Serwin.
Would you like to talk to Kiggy?
Kiki is an adult and she can do as she pleases. But you all collectively invited a child to a war with a red dragon. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Wait, Starbrand's a kid?
I don't think we
Yeah.
realized that he was a minor.
Ignorance is not an excuse to bring a child to war. Where was he last seen? Take me there now.
Sure. We'll bring him to the spot on the wall where he drew the portal.
Can we send someone to go get Kiggy, please?
Yeah, Kiki actually catches you
Okay.
halfway. And she says something in a language to them that you can't understand. And they have a couple of very terse words. The old one doesn't say anything. He just is. You're not even sure why. He hasn't done anything or said anything. He just kind of walks and has a real scary demeanor.
Is there a family resemblance? Like, could he be a grandfather of sorts, or?
So, Kiki does a little bit look like this older one. She doesn't look anything like her dad. Starlbun looks a lot more like his father.
Could they have been adopted or something, or is it just?
I mean,
Okay.
I don't know how you would make that decision, but
So I
rolled
so
to find adoption papers.
while we're walking, I say again, we're very sorry. Can I ask your names?
the bald, scary one completely ignores you. But Kiki says, "This is my father, Hadramilios, and my grandfather, Archimantid.
Argumented.
Archimantid.
Could you say those names one more time?
Hadramilios.
Melios.
He's
Okay.
Greek.
Can you type their names into NPCs?
Yeah, I could probably do that.
At some point. We probably don't need it now, but
Yeah, I'll plug them in there later. And then Archimantid. That's AARKHEHMANTID.
Arachnid. Yeah, arachnid. Got it.
I lean over to Kiggy and I'm like, are they mean?
And before you can answer, the father who is inspecting the portal says, he like kind of rounds on you, and he's like, "Am I mean? Am I
Yes.
mean?"
I was just having a conversation with Kiggy.
About me behind my back while I'm standing right here?
Well, you lit a couple of our friends on fire, and so I just wanted to
Your
check in.
friends tried to keep me from entering the city where my son was last seen. Physically.
Yeah.
Do you understand how little their lives are worth to me? It
I
is
think that's what
basically nothing. If they live a full life, maybe they live 80, 90 years, and then they waste away to nothing. If my son disappears, we've lost 2,000 years and 1/100th of our entire village, which is almost our entire species. There are tens of thousands of you running around just this area, and you care nothing for us. You've never cared for us. You've never looked out for us. All you've ever done is shove us into corners, ignore us, and then finally you take a child and you use him to move soldiers around. I care nothing for you, any of you. As far as I'm concerned, you can all fucking burn.
So anyway,
Okay,
here's
I got
the
my
spot on the
question
wall
answered. Thank you.
where Starlbrand had drawn a portal. This is the last time that he was seen. We can also describe the portal that he opened on the other end if you would like to see that.
I will need some time to examine the portals. And he basically steps through it and disappears. The old one stays.
Has he been totally silent the whole time?
He has.
Ezra will turn to the grandfather and say, in all sincerity, quite sorry. We had no idea, and I know that that's not an excuse, but we were desperate for the assistance that Starbrand could offer us.
He nods.
Also, when we met him, he was with Kiggy, who's an adult. Right?
I don't.
Yeah,
But
out
I
of
mean,
game.
there's no way that we would have known like
Right.
their relative ages, unless like one really looked like a baby and was not speaking words.
Is there anything we can do to help you and your son in your search?
My son is angry. But
Hey, real quick, do you care at all about the people in this town?
not really.
Checking. Cool.
You were saying?
My son is angry, and he is acting in ways he might not normally. He's being brash, and he's always been brash. His daughter has inherited that streak from him, as has his son. They lack patience and foresight. It is a skill I have long sought to teach them, but I can only do so much.
In your studies, what have you learned about the dragon that we are about to face?
Reinroth?
Yes.
I have not studied Reinroth. He's a whelp.
But you do understand that dragons don't tend to stop in one place or the nature of this war, he's not going to stop in one place. He's going to move around. It's possible that your people would have been targeted eventually. It's possible that your grandson understood this.
I think my grandson and my granddaughter are emotional, and they form emotional ties with the little people. It's a thing that their mother has done also.
And you see this as a flaw.
No, I see it as a characteristic.
Your son implied that it was a flaw.
My son is angry and has no foresight.
Is he the leader of your tribe currently?
No,
Pardon my ignorance. I know little of your people, other than what I've learned from Kiggy and Starlbrand.
I am the second eldest of our people as of now.
I will bow deeply.
He kind of like ascends his head just a tiny bit in acknowledgement.
We promise you that we will expel or expend as many resources as required to find your grandson.
What?
I suspect that if my son cannot do it, then you have very little chance of doing so also. However, if you did bring my grandson back, I would be at least in some way convinced to give some sort of token of gratitude.
You mentioned that Rhymeroth is a whelp. Does that mean that if he tried to attack your people, you wouldn't be worried?
No, Rhymeroth presents no concern to my people.
Do we know how many thousands of draconians he has?
He had 2,000. We've killed several. We've killed maybe 100 to between 1 and 200 over the course of the last few days. But uh, given how many he's been sending around to ambush, I am suspicious that maybe he might have had more than 2,000 to begin with. Because they're everywhere. We ran into them in Qualinesti and south of here. Like they're all and in that cave. Like they're all over the place.
Everywhere we've encountered his forces, everywhere we go.
Gelidus, who is originally from Kryn, has mentioned that he thinks Rhymeroth might be trying to restart the Dragon Wars. And it seems pretty clear that he has access to, or the capacity to generate many Draconians, an alarming number of Draconians, which makes his sudden prominence that much more alarming. Because, again, he's a young red dragon. He shouldn't have access to this kind of power and support.
I find it extremely unlikely that Rhymeroth is behind any of this. But I understand that you have your own problems, and I wish you the best in them.
Gelidus, when you were in the cave that I couldn't even see, what I heard little whispers of some of the things that happened in there, but what happened? Who were you talking to?
We were talking to Gellion and Paladine.
Who are they?
Well, they're the gods. They're the gods, and they're moving. We think Takesis is involved as far as Rhymeroth is concerned, but then we also think there's somebody else, somebody from the other planes.
Who's Takesis?
She's the Queen of Darkness, the multi-headed dragon.
Oh, is that a different entity than Tiamat?
See, that's a good question. In Takesis is the dark goddess of evil dragons here on Kryn. Now, whether she's a facet of Tiamat or if Tiamat is a completely different entity in the in the various planes, I don't know. That's kind of
I'm not.
theology has put it out there and has been debating that.
The last time that I used the book, it seemed to indicate that Tiamat was involved. And I wonder if it's possible that they're one and the same with different names.
Could be. I don't know anybody that's actually been able to determine whether the gods have multiple aspects across the planes.
I find it extremely unlikely our Matek, what shit, can't remember his name already. That Stalbrin disappeared while we're prepping to fight Rhymeroth. So what if Rhymeroth does have something to do with the abduction of Stalbrin?
Who are you speaking to?
The grandfather, Archimedes. Whatever his name is.
Archimantid.
Aardvark.
Yeah. When we while
Hold
your
on.
son's yeah.
He did ask him a question. I wasn't sure who he was speaking to.
Yeah, sorry.
If Rhymeroth took my grandson, then I will allow my son to destroy Rhymeroth and retrieve my grandson.
We're aware that the Draconians have been able to polymorph to get into the city. And the last place that we went in a portal, there were sleeping Draconians there. There were a band of sleeping Draconians. perhaps the most likely or simplest explanation for his disappearance is that there were draconians polymorphed here in the city that we didn't know about. And when Starlbrand opened a portal and we went through it, they attacked or abducted him. It's a maybe not the most likely explanation given the quality of magic involved, but
How powerful would something have to be to abduct your grandson? I
good
imagine
question.
just draconians couldn't do it.
It's an excellent question, Dirk.
I do not know. My grandson is just a child.
How old is Starlbrand?
Barely 200 years old.
Which is the equivalent of maybe like an early teenager or not even that?
My people routinely live to 3,000 years.
Very young. All right. Should have noticed.
If it were a team of draconians, could 5 do it? 200? How many would be necessary just in estimate?
I have not spent much time with Starlbrand as of late. It's been a couple of decades since we've had a conversation. I am unsure of what his abilities are.
While we're standing here waiting, one of the things that it would be great to get your perspective on possibly is there are some runes carved into a different part of the wall. It is Bill. How far away is it from where we are?
It's literally on the other side of the town.
Kiggy took a look and said it looked like death magic.
He says something to Kiggy in like ogre language, and Kiggy, who's like has now like sat down on the ground and has her head in her hands, like mumbles something back to him, and he says, "Yes. What is the question?"
I think that on the one hand, that could be evidence that again there are hidden machinations going on here, working against us. And secondly, given
None of my
Kiggy's
people are actively working against you.
no, I didn't mean. I meant that either draconians or dragons or
There are no
evil.
draconians or dragons who can carve a ogre death ward into a wall.
Who do you think could?
Me.
Did you carve it?
Yes.
Oh,
Why?
Because it was the part of the wall that looked like it would not be covered in ice. You'll run out of time.
so it
what
would.
what exactly does the ward do?
I'm not going to tell you what our wards do.
Cool.
I'm going to speak with Kiggy and teach her how to activate the wards that I've placed. It is a way for my granddaughter to escape if she needs to, as well as potentially taking some things with her.
All right.
Welcome back, Foxy Proxy. Good to have you back.
Can't hear you.
It's because I was talking to the chat.
Oh.
And then we silently twiddle our thumbs while we wait for Hadramelios to come back. What's the weather like today, Bill?
Oh, it's a beautiful day after the rain has passed. It's like one of those, after rainy days in the summer where everything is like, oh yeah, I needed a nice long drink. The sun has come out. It's bright and clear. There's a few clouds in the sky, but they're mostly blowing over the plains, or what's left of them. You see now why the Great Plains. What are they called, Matt? The Sea of whatever it's called to the west of the mountains, that huge where you first started, where all the centaurs live. It's pretty dry there because the mountains soak up most of the rain. The rivers pass down through the valleys and into the towards the sea, and that's where most of the settlements spring up. But
Is it the Syrian Sea or a different one?
no, there's a great I don't know, I don't want to pull up my map right now, it's a pain in the ass, but there's on the other side of the mountains there's a huge like plains area.
Oh,
um, that's where you first landed, if you remember, before you hiked in here. I know it's
sure.
been a while.
Yeah, I can't remember if that was to the east or to the west. Even I kind of got
It's to
the
the
way that you
east.
described it.
It's to the east. Sorry,
Oh,
did I
that's
say
the
what?
South Korean Ocean, maybe.
Anywho, it's a beautiful day out, and the town is bustling. Kiggy and eventually, after a few minutes of like awkward silence, the grandfather turns and starts speaking to Kiggy, and kind of just turns his back on you and pretends like you're not there because he's speaking in a language you can understand. Then he starts like carving, not carving, but like he grabs like a stick and starts drawing things into the ground, and then like seems to be giving her instructions basically on how to work the runes that he's put up. Um, you're there for probably almost an hour when Renz, one of the cousins, the sort of like tall, dark-haired one who runs the infantry, kind of pokes his head around the edge and says, "I heard I could find you here. Uh, Dorna requests a meeting of the captains. Uh, this evening before dinner. She'd like to discuss strategy."
We'll be there.
He nods and says, kind of looks at the two ogres, and is like, "All right," and turns around and walks away. After about another hour, just about when probably Dirk is gonna go fucking crazy from sitting still for too long,
Mm-hmm.
um, Hadra pops back through. He says a few things in ogre, and then he turns to you and says, "We'll be leaving now. We've found the trail."
Is there anything we can do to help? It's our
He
fault that Starlbrand is in this mess. If there's anything that we could do to help, we would want to help.
he doesn't say anything. He just turns his back on you.
Well, I've done my part.
The grandfather says, "Your gesture was meant well, but you are of so limited power and value that it makes no sense for him really to respond."
Gelidus, if I live through this, I'm never coming back to this fucking plane. This place sucks.
uh,
I do like ogres far less than I did at the beginning of this encounter.
Yeah, they're mean. They are mean.
Like, we might just want to save Starlbrand and Kiki and be like, "You're the only good ones. Let's leave."
Well, I think that from the perspective, like, there's gonna be ogres that are nice to us. There's gonna be ogres that aren't nice to us.
Actually, we dealt with
Yeah.
an elf dude that was like that too.
Yeah. And look at before we were the spicy oranges, we had people in the Citadel that were not particularly nice to us.
Back when we were the pimento olives, or
We weren't very spicy. We were just the oranges.
they turn and walk through the portal, which stays open, and then Kiki gets up and says, "I have to go with them. I have to find my brother. This is my fault, not yours. I'm
I say I'll
sorry.
go with you.
Please, please stay and save these people. I will be back, and I'm
Here,
sorry.
You should take your brother's finger. And then
Um,
I hand it over.
In the wine bladder of freshness.
Yep.
please be safe, friends. I will return as soon as I'm able. And then she walks through, and it closes.
We gave her the finger, right?
Yeah, that just happened.
No, Starlbrand's finger.
Yeah, that just happened.
That just happened.
Wait, didn't we give it? I thought we gave it to her last session though.
I
We
can't remember.
talked about giving it to her.
She definitely has it now,
Okay.
or at least we
We all
tried to give
want
it
to
her.
give her father the finger.
Yeah.
Let's restrain that impulse.
Guy's mean. Give him the finger.
Okay, so I have left you guys an entire afternoon in Wonder, just in case your characters wanted to do anything there, right? Or if there's anything else you wanted to clean up before the plot stuff starts happening again. So
How many potions of healing can we buy?
this place is tapped, right? The town is empty. There's not much. It's only basically soldiers and people who take care of soldiers.
Is there a place for me to replenish my javelins? I only need like 2 or 3.
Yes, that's pretty easy.
All right.
How far away is the cliff where 4-7 vanished?
Yeah.
It's like half a day's walk.
Too far.
Yeah, like 4 to 6 hours.
Bill, how much gold do you want for the javelins?
None. They have shit tons of javelins.
Okay.
They're preparing for a battle. Anything they can throw, spears, arrows, rocks, like you can just walk up to some of the stores and grab some.
Okay.
Since this is a mining town, can I get a diamond?
Good question, but no, they don't mine diamonds here. They have gold, they have silver, and they have dragon metal.
Useless.
You can ask around. Someone might have a diamond.
It'd be kind of hard to find one, I think, because it's got to be a specific worth a specific gold amount to be
You
able to be
thinking
used
for
in
a
the spell.
specific spell?
Yeah, so in order to cast a spell to raise somebody back from the dead, I need a diamond, and it consumes the diamond. So, not that I'm planning on letting any of you get to that point, but just in case, right?
Yeah. Listen, I'm only gonna say this once. If it's me that goes, leave me dead. All right, I've had enough of this shit.
But then who's gonna hold your book?
Yeah, fuck that.
That's
You're
part
taking
of why I'm sick of this.
You're taking that book.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to stay alive to do all the talking.
right. All right.
Should we
Stop
just
reminding
quickly
me.
check in with Follis and make sure there's nothing else he needs?
Yeah.
We
Were
should
there any
maybe
other loose threads during downtime?
we might want to think about strategy, right? About like
Like-
how we want to deploy the
Yeah,
700.
well, I think that's what our meeting is. That's what our next
Oh, yeah.
meeting's going to be with the.
Right.
Should we talk about maybe like what are we doing? Like as opposed like the army and stuff like that. That's all great, but the gods have tasked us with saving the dragons and figuring out who's behind everything.
That's one of the questions is do we stay and fight the fight here? Or while the fight is going on here, do we try to go rescue the dragons and squash the eggs and kill Rhymeroth if he's still there? That is a question that we need to answer. It may be a question worth talking about with this evening with all of the captains.
Do we know where the eggs are?
In Ramroth's cavern.
Yeah, they're probably in the same place that the dragons are.
Okay. Because 4-7 was not able to mark anything on our map, right? She knew like a 10-mile radius or something. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah. I think it was more like a 5-mile radius, but yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any particularly damaging weapons or something? Because I can enter an ethereal plane and get very, very, very close to Rhymeroth and have one shot at a sneak attack.
God, if only like some ancient, super
Yes,
powerful
we
elf
have.
had given you something.
Bring
Yeah, he
me.
gave us arrows. I don't remember what the arrows are. They actually, I think I do. The arrows, I think, interrupt his magic. But let me double check that. 2 arrows that will dispel the dragon's magic for some time. If only we knew somebody who was any good with a bow, either cross or
Yeah,
blank.
we're both very good at this. So I can get very close with etherealness, and Jana can shoot very well. So we have a mixed one arrow to both of us, and I will go into the ethereal plane, and I can get on his friggin' head and shoot him at it there. Oh, hold on.
Hi,
best
Joe.
thing
Hi,
to see
Joe.
is Bill's expression.
I haven't seen Joe in a while. Sorry.
Yeah, it's been a
Also,
really long time.
aren't we sitting on a shitload of dragon metal? I assume it's called that because you can make weapons that are effective against dragons.
No, I've been talking about this whole time. I put it in downtime.
Do we probably do
My-
we have anyone who could forge it though? I assume it takes a
I think that it's just kind of cool metal, guys. I don't think it's especially good at dealing with dragons. We had this conversation at some point. It's very rare and very valuable. It's lighter than steel, just as strong. Usually had magical properties.
and they made dragon lances out of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Are those not used to kill dragons?
the dragon riders use them.
Well, yeah,
I've
so
Kill
I've
other.
kill the dragon.
I've ridden a fucking dragon.
Yeah,
Get that man.
you should
got a
give,
fair
Get this
point.
man a
give one of
lance.
those lances to Zerwin, just as a prize.
And maybe we can try to make some dragon javelins.
Look, I can do 2 attacks. I got 2 attacks. I can shoot an arrow and stop some magic, and then stab it in the eyeball with a dragon lance. I'll do it. I'll get there. I cast it twice.
Yeah, this is literally what I'm saying. We should,
Yeah.
if we can forge a couple of weapons out of dragon metal, we should.
I
But
can walk through space. Let's do this.
my question is, does it require a specific forge and talent, which none of us have?
It does. For a long time, before the Dragon Wars, it was lost. Nobody knew how to make them, and then somebody figured out how to make them again, and they were used during the war.
Other than your father, like, could the dwarves maybe use it? Some of the cousins. Like,
You could ask.
No should ask. If I don't have a whole lot of time.
I mean, I can't use them. Why the fuck am I asking? Come on, guys.
I'm asking.
You guys gonna go to the end to try to speak with the cousins?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Hold on, I'm putting this on. I'm putting the crown on. And I would like to, even though I have not spoken to him before, I want to try to talk with, I think he's in here based off of our conversation with Harmek. I would like to try to connect with Marbrotum Grimacer.
Okay.
So what do you need? A D20?
A D12. And
Everybody remembers the safe word, right?
okay.
I don't. So
So roll your D12, and then what's your Constitution bonus?
+4.
Safe word.
Okay. So
Well, he
you're
doesn't
you're
know,
likely to be able to get him as you're
Oh,
attuned.
fuck.
What'd you roll?
Safe.
A 1.
Oh,
Nope, that's-
Jesus.
That's not going to do it.
That's that douche sock, right?
Okay.
We don't know how this works actually.
All right.
He's
So
he's gonna roll a dice.
You're gonna lose Zerwin to a asshole for the whole battle.
okay. From again, echoing from the back of your skull to the front, you hear a woman's voice.
Oh, sweet.
No.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
What's your name?
What's your name? Where are we? Where am I?
Zerwin Grumpleforged. We're in Wonder.
I'm sorry. Did you say Zerwin Grumbleforged?
Grumple with a P.
You mean Grumbleforge?
I do not.
That's odd.
Why does my
Okay.
name sound familiar?
Yes, it's very close to my family name.
Oh.
I'm Helginda Grumbleforge.
Oh, Helginda. We've met before.
We have. I
Quite,
don't recall.
I think she was the first one that I talked to.
I think didn't you speak to her while you were in like the Dragon Cave?
Well, I think I was still talking to.
Anyway, you definitely spoke to her before, but
Yeah.
she sounds different and she doesn't remember.
Okay. Well,
You've
I
returned to
don't.
real time, by the way.
Yes. I just wanted to put this on because we're going to talk to some dwarves. I'll try to give you the cliff notes. We are about to be attacked by a young red dragon. We're in a small mining village on Kryn, and we are trying to stop this dragon from destroying the town and taking over the dragon metal mines. We're about to go have a tactical meeting with the captains of the army we have assembled, sort of hodgepodge.
All right. Let's go.
How you feeling, Helginda? You sound a little different.
I feel odd. Don't feel right. I feel like something is wrong.
Okay. Well, keep me posted.
All right. So the rest of you go to the. This is going to be an interesting roleplay. Okay. So the rest of you go to the inn. The inn is as it has always been, more or less. All of the for the most part, most of the cousins are there. They're bustling around. They're making food. They're sharpening weapons. They're coordinating, logistics and just doing shit that needs to be done to keep 1,000 people armed and fed and equipped. You of course you recognize like Harg, the madman, and so Becky is there. Furbeck, Coldstone, that's Dornis's brother. He was the bartender. He's now behind the bar in this place, and he's got like Reed, who's all bandaged and like cobbled up, right? Because he got fucked up really badly. So he's got like braces on and bandages on. Who's sitting at the edge of the bar, just like laughing, like, "Oh, stop, it hurts!" And Furbeck is like, cheering him on, and just kind of the two have bonded, both being bartenders and sociable people. Harg Madman is currently arm wrestling Becky. It's a pretty close one. Becky's winning a little bit, but it's close. And you don't see Dorna, but you do see Render. That's Corbin Render Renz. He's he's the one that doesn't say a whole lot. He does sort of look like a Karen
Where's
with
this
that thing
meeting?
on, doesn't he? It's here, but you're like 2 hours early.
Right now, we were going to ask if any of the cousins, Dorna or whichever cousins are here.
I just described to you which cousins were here.
I didn't think I was going to be the one talking because I can't use any of these dragon metal weapons. So I go to the most prominent leadership type of the that you described, and
You go to
I
Corbin.
Corbin. Uh, so my colleagues were wondering if any of the cousins might have the skill to fashion dragon metal weapons.
Um,
Because there's a warehouse full of the ore here. We're talking tons of this stuff just sitting around.
if anyone could do it, it would be Dorna. Sorry, I
Okay.
did Render's voice incorrectly when he came to get you. That was Harg's voice. I'm doing Render's voice correctly now. If anyone could do it,
I
would be
thought
Dorna.
something was weird.
Yeah, we all caught it.
Apologies,
Where's
friends.
Where's
Dorna?
Dorna?
I don't know. Last I heard, she was going to take a tour of the walls.
How long ago was that?
Dragon metal is notoriously finicky, but you can ask her.
Well, how long has she been out touring the walls?
I don't know. Hour or
Helginda.
so.
2 days.
I asked Helginda if she knows anything about dragon metal.
Yeah, a bit.
Could you forge a weapon out of it?
No.
Okay.
Gods, no. Only the very best metalsmiths can even work with dragon metal. And then you have to know, it's. I've heard that just a couple of degrees of temperature off will ruin whatever you're making. It's extremely hard to work with. In fact, don't tell anyone else I said this, but the elves are better at it than we are.
Your secret is safe with me. You a drinker, Helginda?
I don't remember.
Well, let's see if you have a taste for it. I go over and get a beer.
You have a drink?
I do.
Oh, that's quite refreshing, actually.
Oh,
Well
good.
done.
Render, should we invite the elves? Did you say one of the elves were already here?
So, Captain Ardrill and the Black Lotus Eaters are in the city. They're the ones who are training the militia.
But no one's in the bar.
No.
We should probably bring him in to this meeting. Can I send a runner to go get him?
Well, he'll be here for the meeting of the captains because he's one of the captains.
Okay.
Do you guys want to fast forward to the meeting of the captains?
Well, if we've got time, I want to run over and talk to him and see if anyone on his team knows how to, work with dragon metal.
Sure. Let's do that.
It's not hard to find Ardrill. He is the one who's walking around the drills and
Oh, look, guys, there he is.
he's picture a military training ground where there are 200-ish people, 150 people, all doing the same sort of drills with instructors walking around trying to help them, and then one particularly cranky instructor walking around calling everyone idiots, but not calling them idiots, but being like, okay, no, you want to kill them, not tickle them. Fucking stab. Okay, better. And trying to maintain his calm, but being like, this is fucking awful. Why am I doing this kind of thing? That's our drill right now. When he sees you approach, he almost looks relieved. Like, I don't have to do this anymore for a couple seconds. Yes. How can I help you, Zerwin?
Ardrill, we were wondering if you or anyone, any one of your compatriots, Walanisty, knows how to work with dragon metal.
No, it's a very carefully guarded secret. Only
Okay.
master forgers are even allowed to touch dragon metal.
Cool. How's the training going?
Could be better.
Do you need any help? I have experience with this.
Absolutely.
Great. I start training them better than he was doing.
You want to roll for it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
What do I roll?
Dice.
He's got you there. I don't know. What's in your character sheet that would fit this?
I don't know. Insight, animal
Performance.
handling,
I was going to say
performance.
performance, persuasion, maybe.
Yeah. Go for performance. You're trying to demonstrate things.
Nat 20.
Oh, he rolled a nat 22. Oh, nat 20 also. Roll again. Oh,
That is good.
Not competing with Ardril. I'm just trying to help.
why
Why
don't
am
I
I
see your rolls?
Oh, I just got a 8+1.
He only rolled a 14. Did he beat you this time?
Yes.
You both do amazingly. You both rolled nat 20s. But in the long run, he's maybe slightly better at it.
That's wrong.
You're still my guy, Dirk.
Can I ask before the meeting, can we get a double check on our numbers? I may have miscounted. One specifically was the Wonder Guards. I wrote down 42 in one place and 60 in another.
So 42 is the correct number of guards.
Great. Then I have the 62 BLE Elven Commandos, which includes 3 mages.
60,
500 free. Go ahead.
It's 64 Black Lotus Eaters. 2 of them were injured.
Are they up and running again, or?
Yes.
Cool. And then did we want to get a more accurate count of the 500 free people warriors after the injuries and or deaths?
Yes, you can do that if you'd like.
I would love to.
There are 468 barbarian warriors.
Yeah, mix of barbs and druids. 81 dwarven cousins. Is
Hold
that
on,
number
there are
accurate?
468 free people barbarians.
Okay.
And there are 23 druids. And there are 602 residents who are willing to fight.
Oh, okay. That's a lot more than I had listed.
Well,
And then
Captain Ardril recommends that you actually only use about 400 of them.
Okay. Let's do the 400 then. 81 dwarven cousins. Is that accurate?
Sorry, how many did you say?
81.
Yes.
24 centaur soldiers.
Yes.
1 minotaur.
Don't forget the Ursins.
Yeah, how many do we have?
20.
Do we have
And
like
then-
an evacuation plan?
No.
No,
That can
this
be one of
is-
the things we talk about tonight. And then there are 500 dwarven soldiers, including 12 clerics that are en route. We hope.
That's how many there's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know who we haven't checked in with in a while is Stiggy's dad. Can't remember his name. We've still got his message tube, don't we?
We used it. might take some time to get to him. The other, you know what? Bill, I would like to take the magic coin that we can use to summon the Azamar. Which God, was her name Lucky? No. I'm gonna find it.
Too many fucking names.
I have right now 42 pages of notes. So yeah, there's a lot of names. Which Asimar are you referring to?
What was the name of the cat? Does anyone remember the name of the cat?
Oh, you mean Liviana?
The one who we talked to behind the bar in the Radiant Citadel.
Oh, yeah. God, you don't remember her name because I don't remember what name she gave you. She gave
Seven.
you a clearly fake name.
Seven. She's an Azamar who serves Timora. I spelled Azamar wrong, which is why I couldn't find it. She gave us a coin, I think, that we could use to try to get her attention.
Yes.
I might as well do that now. Yeah, to contact her with. I'm guessing I just flipped the coin, but she did explain to us how to use it, so I use it to try to contact her.
Yeah. So
But that's who knows
just to
how
give
this
you a little
goes.
mechanical thing, like that Asimar, right, is a mortal on a different plane. So magically, they'll probably sense that you're trying to contact them, but they can't just teleport. Like teleportation is not a thing that everybody or even most people can do.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean it's a different set of gods and everything too. So, but worth a try. And just as much chance of her showing up and being pissed at me for contacting her for no reason. So,
Okay. Anything else before we move on to the meeting of the captains?
does anyone else have anything that they want to do?
All right. So, in the meeting, all the cousins clear out the main dining room of the inn, and they put a long table together with a bunch of chairs. In the meeting, you will have Belga and Jorth. You will have Dorna. You will have Captain Ardril. You will have Darman. That's the Urson, right? You'll have Alcios, who you've mostly forgotten about. You'll have Pholus. You'll have Thaden, or Thadian, who's the leader of the Centaurs.
Could you give me the name of the Urson leader again?
Darman. He's the one that fed you magic mushrooms and let you trip a little bit in the woods.
Well, you didn't give them to me.
And then you'll have Render. And I believe that's everyone.
Can I real quick? My necklace is not glowing, right?
It is not.
Okay.
The mood, so everyone piles in. It's a lot of people and it's a lot of personalities and it's a lot of disparate personalities. Also in the room are Becky and Reed, mostly because they're bringing food in and out of the kitchens and drinks in and out of the kitchens. Well, Becky is. Reed is sort of like sitting on a stool, just trying to make sure everything goes okay. He has like a crutch that he hobbles around on, but he's not carrying anything right now. At the big long table, there seems to be at first like a little bit of like, where do we sit? Belga immediately sits at the very head of the table. and sort of plops herself down, and her son Jorth sits to her right. Dorna kind of unassumingly sits in the middle somewhere with Render. Captain Ardrill actually doesn't sit at first. He kind of leans up against the wall and kind of just watches for a minute or two. And it looks like he might be waiting to see what you all do. Basically, he's watching you. Darman plops down kind of like on the left side of Belga. And, she doesn't look as massive with an enormous bear sitting next to her. It's almost a little comforting. Alxios, he's quite large, so he actually moves a chair out of the way and sits on the floor. Keeping in mind that he is a draconian, and one of the ones that came from the Silver Dragons. Folus sits down, kind of near the cousins, and Thadian, being a centaur, also moves a chair out of the way and sits. Does everyone here want to sit? How do you want to approach this table?
Bill, I'm gonna activate detect good and evil as I move around.
Does it? How does that power work in terms of like? Is it just going to give you a sense of if there is very good and very evil things around?
I mean, as rules is written, it says an action you can detect good and evil until the end of your next turn. You can sense anything affected by a hallow spell, or know the general location of celestial fiend undead within 60 feet. It's not behind a total cover.
No, it doesn't ring any of those bells, and
Okay.
no one in the rooms seems to be emanating a great evil.
Okay.
Not even me.
Not even you. Well, there actually is some evil coming from the other players, but you already know about the book that Ezra carries, so you figure that's probably it.
It's in my backpack. That doesn't count as a total cover.
Apparently, with an evil this immense, no, but yeah, it sort of oozes out from the outsides.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's gotten some of its evil stink on me by this point.
Yeah. Everyone. There isn't much small talk. They're sort of waiting for you all to join and take the lead. At one point, Belga does look over at Darman and say, "You are quite hairy." And Darman, who's like sipping a mug of tea, turns to her and says, "Would you like some tea?" And Belga leans over and sniffs it and says, "Is there booze in it?" And Darman says, "There is not." And Belga says, "Bah!"
All right.
We should go sit down.
Yeah, Ezra moves to sit down.
We get Ezra a booster.
Yep.
And grab spots at the table.
It's cheap shots. Shots fired.
Thank you all for being here. That my thanks is the smallest possible level of gratitude that I can offer for the profound level of support that you are offering this place. Let's talk about what we know, or what we strongly suspect. There's an army of approximately 2,000 Draconians on their way here, likely tomorrow morning. If not tomorrow morning, then almost certainly the day after that. But we think it'll be tomorrow morning. They may also have a youngish red dragon leading them. While we assume it's about 2,000, it could be a little bit less. It could also be more Draconians at this point. We think mostly they'll be attacking by land. It's possible that they may have some air support, not only from the dragon, but from CVAX, who might be able to glide and do some level of flight. What Rhymeroth told us himself is that he's planning on sacking the city in order to take the dragon metal. And so the move will be to simply annihilate anything in his way to prevent that.
What happened to Dwarf Army?
They're on their way. They were supposed to be brought here through a portal. We had a mishap getting that to work, so we sent one dwarf, one of the fastest rider, to go retrieve the army. They're marching south toward us, hopefully, and with any luck, they should arrive in the morning, probably right around the time that the battle starts.
Dwarves are natural sprinters.
It's true.
Fucking hate Ruddick. I mumble.
We've been able to assemble here this group, which includes the 6 kind of representatives of Wonder, who you have sitting here alongside Zerwin, the protector of Wonder. We have 42 town guards, and then Ezra runs through the list of the total assembled forces. We have an excellent shot at protecting the city and destroying this draconian army if we actually work effectively together. Thank you for calling this meeting for us to assemble a strategy.
2-1 odds. I like it.
I lean over to Ezra and I'm like, that's a really good speech.
Thanks. One of the... I'm not sure if you can tell by looking at me, but grand scale strategy and tactics is not my forte. The assembled knowledge from all of you, of the captains of these forces, well outweighs any knowledge of tactics that I have. One of the questions that we need to solve as a group is whether or not the 6 of us will be present tomorrow. There is an alternative plan where the 6 of us could go and try to rescue the enslaved dragons from where Rhymeroth is currently nested up with his army.
Render.
As his...
Sorry, you get a couple of like... Render kind of snorts. And
as his army will be here, and possibly he will be here, that would be the perfect time to try to strike. And 1, free the enslaved dragons, and 2, destroy the cache of eggs that will hatch into new draconians. We could do that tomorrow during the battle, or we could do it after we inevitably come out victorious.
Zerwin, you notice that Dorna is kind of staring at you. Maybe because you have the crown on, you're not really sure. Captain Argel speaks up and says, if you all leave on the eve of battle, I think it'll be a devastating blow to the townsfolk who have looked at you as their saviors and captains. They are the weakest part of this link.
Also, if we kill Rhymeroth, then we can then just go get the eggs afterwards.
We don't know that he'll be leading the army.
I guess. He's vain. I have a feeling he's going to want to have some glory here, whoever he's working for. My eyes go blurry for a second as I talk to Helgen to say, Helgen, are you able to pass me off to somebody else in the crown?
No, but I don't mind leaving if you want to try again.
Okay, I'm going to take the crown off then. That's what I have to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Dorna's staring at me, right?
Who did you
So
talk to?
I stared directly at Dorna and go,
who did you... Oh, God.
I would like to talk to... I'm going to try again for... no, I can't remember his name. Marbrotum Grimacer. You need another D12.
I do indeed.
Come on. +4 Constitution. That ought to do it.
What'd you get?
An 11 + 4.
Okay. Never spoken to Marbotum.
Nope.
All right, so from the sort of back of your skull, again, sort of echoing towards the forefront, a voice comes. This got a bad taste in my mouth.
I turn and look at, well, Reed's all messed up. I'm like, Becky, could you grab me a beer?
She nods.
As soon as it gets there, I take a swig. Better?
Yeah.
I can talk to him without verbalizing, right?
You can, but you
Okay.
can't say, like, if you're speaking to him only in your head, then you can't, like, hear what's going on outside. So you can either speak out loud to him and, like, sort of, like, it's sort of like you can either focus inner or you can focus outer.
All right. I'm just going to focus inner and quickly give him the recap that I gave Helginda. And then say, we're here in this captain's meeting. I'm sorry to throw this on you very quickly, but I've been told that you are an excellent tactician, and we could use any assistance as we defend this town from a red dragon.
Why the fuck should I care about this town?
Because if after this, they're probably going to come to Thorbarden. In fact, 500 dwarves from Thorbarden are on their way to help us with this fight.
Who are you?
My name is Zerwin
I
Griffith.
heard your name the first time, but who the fuck are you?
I'm the Lord Protector of Wonder.
Oh, I'm sure that's very fancy.
It's not.
Then why do you make that who you are?
Oh, that's who I am right now.
Why do you care?
Because we believe that the fight is going to spill over from here into the other realms, and
So
possibly
what?
I would like to survive.
I see. So it's selfishness then.
A little bit. But I do have family in another realm. Actually, is it the same realm?
No.
No, right? I have family and friends elsewhere, and I don't believe that all these innocent people should suffer if we can help stop it before it starts.
There's a real, like, cranky fuck offitude about this voice. Like, doesn't seem super interested. I'll tell you what, I'll listen to what's happening, but I'm not super motivated to help you or anyone else here, for that matter.
Okay. You want another
Thorbarden
beer?
turned its back on me. Thorbarden left me. I lost everyone. And when I needed them, they left me. So yeah, I can command an army. I can slay a dragon. But why the fuck would I? And why would you? Because right now, they're all looking at you like you're someone important because you're wearing a fucking crown. They don't give a shit about you. None of them do. When the fucking shit hits the fan, which of these are gonna stand up next to you and face a red dragon? Really?
Well, I don't know about everybody, but I think these 5 will. And I kind of look at my squad. I look at the spicy oranges.
So these are your friends.
Yep. Also, if you help us, maybe I can help you. What do you want?
I want I want my name restored. But more than that, I want to feel something. Anything.
Well,
Because I don't really feel a whole lot right now, and I haven't for a long time. I'm not even angry. It's just boring.
well, wouldn't commanding an army to try to slay a dragon and 2,000 draconians be less boring?
Maybe. Let's see what they
Well,
have to say.
let's listen in.
All right.
Oh wait, I asked him if he wants more beer.
Don't get drunk.
Okay. All right, let's proceed. I refocus on what's happening.
Dorn is staring at you.
The Captain Ardrill finally takes a seat in a chair, and he says, "You can't leave. Leaving would be a terrible mistake for a large portion of the people who need to see you. Not only can you not leave, you need to be visible. At least some of you need to be visible at almost all times."
I, for one, have to stay.
The Black Locust Eaters will do what they need to do. But there's 500 people out there who only have you.
We could do this in phases.
What do you mean, Fullus says? Phases like how?
Step one, we survive the battle. Drive Rhymeroth away. We chase him back to his lair. And then accomplish the other tasks that we need to accomplish.
Well, I agree, but we still need to survive the battle, yes?
Yes. We have several ideas along those lines.
I would like to hear what Little Man has for ideas.
That's you. You're the little man. I'm the littlest man. So little man is you.
Yes.
The walls are stronger than they were with the ice on, and perhaps cannot now be melted. But you can still scale ice walls. They will bring ladders, and they will bring battering rams to hammer at gates.
Yes, of course. And I think with the time allotted, we should actually prepare a lot of booby traps on the inside of the city or the town.
Traps inside town?
Yes. We're going to have a series of we're going to have to fall back if they breach the walls. If they take the walls, we have to fall back. We'll die if we continue fighting on the walls, and they've already taken them.
Draconians explode or melt or terrible thing every time you kill one.
Yes, that's why I think we should focus on traps that contain those, like pit traps, things that will keep them in place so that they will minimize the amount of damage. Bear traps that just attach to chains, for
Darman
instance.
looks over at that. Sorry, he's a bear.
Because he's a bear. I apologize.
I wonder about pit traps' effectiveness with draconians who can fly or glide.
Yes, but they'd have to know it was going to happen. If we disguise them and they plow through the front gate and they fall into something that explodes.
What if we make barricades and shooting lanes, funnel them through certain areas?
Well, if they fly, they could go over barricades.
They'll
the
still
same
be at a
problem.
distance, but they'll be at a distance if they're flying.
That's true.
Also,
We-
not all of them can fly.
Very few of them, we think.
We should also make a series of wagon rings so that we can just stand within and fire in an arc outwards. It doesn't matter if we're accurate, just so long as we hit something where they can't
Alzio's
fight back. We need to preserve as many of our troops as possible for as long as possible.
Alzios says, I have not seen another CVAC in days. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but I suspect their CVAC numbers are running thin.
How many farms are outside that we haven't yet looked at?
I've been to nearly all of them, a few handful here and there.
The ones with scarecrows. Send out men to collect the scarecrows.
Hmm.
We're going to place them on the walls to make it look like we've gotten more people than we normally do.
I mean, they're gonna know. They're gonna know right away that something's up because about half of the wall is ice,
It's
and
almost all of
there's
the wall.
and there's a lot more armor in the city.
I look at Fullest, said Fullest, did Fodley's leave anything cool lying around that we might be able to use?
Fodley's was only here for a couple days.
That's what I thought.
Dorna
Provided,
finally
go ahead.
Dorna finally speaks up and says, we might consider fighting some action outside the walls. If we
Like
can
do a sortie and then draw them in.
depending on how they approach, it's possible that they will be overconfident. In fact, I think it highly likely they'll be overconfident.
What if we draw them in through the gate and open fire through, like, we have men set up on either side to just cut them down?
I think you'll get 50 or 60 that way. But I think
50 or 60 fewer than we have to fight later.
very true, and I'm for it. I wonder though about supposing they don't send all 2,000 at once. I wonder about putting a force outside the walls, hiding somewhere, and then pincering in with that force.
Well, they'll have to be far enough out that their scouts won't detect them.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, it's the CVACs that are the scouts. So we'll need cover from whoever does this. Will need cover from Alcios, and then archers.
I mean,
Gallerus.
wouldn't that be Ardril's group?
Ardril shrugs. The Black Lotus Eaters will do whatever we need to do. We're more than happy to be the hammer or the anvil. Belga says, we put barbarians on walls. They never get through walls. We are walls ourselves. Just make walls taller. Let them
We
bring
already
ladder.
think. I mean, we're hoping that the dwarves will get back in time, or right around the time that the Draconians get here.
But we don't,
They'll-
right? They may be coming from different directions.
Yeah. Galladus, you had a spell that you used to provide shelter for us when we were trying to lure Draconians out. How many people could fit inside that?
Hold on one second. Let me check that.
If we have any flammable liquids, also we could put them in the entryways. So when troops move through, we set it on fire.
Can fit 9 medium-sized creatures.
That's not very many.
No.
And you'd have to be there, so you can only do one.
Correct.
So we couldn't really pincer.
So when you hear the voice in your head, from which direction is the army of Draconians approaching, and from which direction are the dwarves approaching?
The dwarves will be approaching from the north,
Northeast.
and we believe the dragons will be approaching from the southwest, right?
Just no, like just almost pure west.
Just west. Okay. I relay that to what's his name?
There's nothing that destroys the morale of an army like a second army attacking them in the rear.
Yep.
So we'd have to dispatch another courier to tell them to outflank them and hit them in the rear towards the middle of the battle to the end of the battle, because that's going to be how long it takes them to get into position.
So they would have to go around. So remember that Wonder is seated on a lake, and that lake stretches north. So they'd have to go up around the lake. The good news is just getting around the lake means they're going to come in from behind the other army. The bad news is how long does that take without roads? Question mark, question mark.
Could we put boats up there in advance for them to be able to use?
You could, but boats are super visible on water.
And there's 500 of them.
I mean, so is troops, though.
So most of the shore of the lake to the north is heavily wooded.
Okay.
Which slows them down, but does give them cover.
Is the lake stretches to the north, but the lake's on the west side, correct?
No. You can see the map of Wonder. It's
Yeah, well, I can't remember the
northwest.
website. What's the
Owlbear
website that has the
Rodeo.
map? Owlbear.
It's it should be linked in from last session because we used it last session. It's the same thing. So you can look at the map of Wonder.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it's just north and then kind of stretches kind of north by northwest.
And this is a cove that Wonder is on, right? The lake isn't like, Lake Champlain or Great Lake, right? It's a decent sized lake. This is a cove that Wonder is on. It goes up and then it sort of like curves a little bit more due north because right now it's facing north by northwest, and then it sort of curves slightly just due north. It's kind of like a little finger, and this is the far southern tip of it. So when you look at the map of Wonder, you can see that the Draconians will be approaching basically down the shore of that lake. At least that's where you think they're going to come from. You don't really know. The road that goes out that you came in from goes through the Copper Road, right? Comes through the Copper Gate. And the road that the dwarves would most likely come through would be the Dawn Reach.
Can Draconians swim?
No, says Folus. Or at least not well, terribly. Most of them will sink like stones.
So could we force the battle to the lake edge?
You might.
If they do attack from the west through that gate at the Copper Road or along the wall north of the Copper Road, we could send one contingent out the Dawnreach Gate and swing around like themselves a great gate and then come along the southern side of the city and try to force the the Draconians north towards the lake. We could do that. Again, that contingent will likely take heavy losses.
I'm just streaming the map.
Would it make sense for one of us to try to be bait for Rhymeroth? Because we need to keep him from the walls, right?
Sure. One of the things that our elven friends provided was a pair of arrows that would make it so that Rhymeroth couldn't use his magic for a certain span of time. We know that Rhymeroth has rather striking magical abilities. He ambushed the Black Lotus Eaters using a magical storm. So preventing him from using magic would be rather crucial. We were going to give one each to our finest archers out of the 6 of us, those being Dirk and Jana.
And we still have no. I'm asking the group. We've got no. No one's heard or seen 47.
No,
47.
No.
I'd love to get at least one of us up in the air with her. Preferably Jana, since she has the best relationship with her. And then
I mean,
I wonder if Rhymeroth would be pissed if he saw one of his, baby mamas flying around.
I had kind of figured that the Black Lotus Eaters, being probably the most talented archers that we have, would be on the walls.
Everyone make a perception check.
Oh, yeah, I said something stupid, didn't I? God damn it. Always running my goddamn mouth. That's a 24.
25.
There's my man over there.
Nat 20.
Gelidus, Ezra, Dirk, Owen, Jana, everyone but Zerwin. You hear something.
We hear Zerwin.
You hear something faint. As it's starting to get dark outside, you hear something faint, and then someone's actually it's Render who stands up and says shh, and then a hush falls over the room, and then there's some noise from the kitchen, and Becky throws the door open and says shut up, and then it's quiet, really quiet, and everyone's straining and listening, and that's when you hear the drums. Deep, heavy, thick drums and a slow beat.
Hopefully those are the dwarven drums.
Let's take a quick break and be right back. Fill up your water bottles, etc., etc.
Did a halfling drop some shit down a well that we should be aware of?
Any fool of a tuck's around?
Fool of a took! Rinse yourself in next time. Save us from your stupidity.
All right, I'll be right back.
Drums in the dark. All right. Give everybody a minute so to get back from break. It's a slow, steady, heavy, rhythmic drumming. And it's getting closer. Oh, look at everybody online. Hey, everybody. We have new subscriber benefits, including their own special channel on Discord. And so we've already given away the stickers, which will be out this week. And if we get enough people on tonight, I can give away a dice set with a dice bag.
So, I don't know. Where do you guys think the people were going to go?
What?
Where were we going to put all the different groups?
Are centaurs going to be helpful fighting inside walls? Or
I
should
don't
they
know
be
what their skill
outside the
set is.
wall?
You
I mean,
brought
if-
them. What's their skill set?
Hey.
Are any of them
Hello.
reverse centaurs?
What?
How would that be helpful?
Yeah, what does that even mean?
It means they have
All
human legs and
All
the
their feet are
top
hands.
half. Yeah.
So the helpful thing would be that they eat grass and tip over easily?
I hate even thinking about that. I hate that I've thought about the fact that there's a reverse centaur.
So somebody online found out that like a centaur is a medium-sized creature. So they were like, a centaur can ride a horse. That means,
Oh, that's good.
but how would it work? You know, is it sideways or is it?
Also, centaurs
Um,
have 2 rib cages, which is weird.
Oh yeah, they have 2 sets of lungs and 2 hearts.
They have 2 rib cages. I don't know if they've got.
D&D doesn't specify that deep with the biology of mythic creatures.
I'm gonna say
Uh,
yes, 2 sets of lungs and 2
Shadowrun
hearts.
does, but D&D doesn't.
If you would, okay, real quick before you start, because Geldis isn't back yet. If you had the opportunity to ride a centaur in real life, would you?
What is the face? What's the body look like?
Not without their permission.
Yeah,
No.
I mean,
Let's say you had their permission. Would you? Because
yeah, probably.
I mean, I barely want to ride a regular horse.
Yeah, I'd feel bad too with my current weight.
yeah, I'm a pretty big boy myself. I'm not sure I'd feel super
Well,
good
let's
about it.
assume that the horse, the centaur can handle it.
Let's
I'd
say,
let my
The
kid ride
centaur
me.
enough to ride it.
but hold on, because they're not going to let you put a saddle on them, right? So you're going to have to bareback or maybe blanket ride this thing. And there's no like bit, right? It's not like you're going to, there's no reins, there's no saddle horn. So you're going to have to like
You're-
seatbelt hug the top human part, right?
Yeah,
And we're like,
you're gonna Titanic it.
you're going to have to Titanic the
You have
centaur
to Titanic a centaur.
in order to ride it. And is that a thing that you're looking forward to in life?
It depends on if I'm named Jack in this scenario, I suppose.
I think this is the most important conversation we've had so far this evening, and I have to say that I don't think that I would ride a centaur unless it was like an emergency, unless they were like, we have to run from the fucking goblins and you're not fast enough, in which case I would. Otherwise, I just don't think like. To be fair, I also don't want any of you to give me a piggyback ride. Right? That's not a thing that I'm really looking forward to in life. So yeah.
Does the gender of the centaur matter to you, Bill? Is this a gender thing?
I mean, no. I mean, I don't think I'd feel
Pretty
any.
messed up.
I don't think I'd feel any more or less awkward Titanic seatbelting a male or a female. I think I'd feel equally awkward.
Really?
I think so, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I'd feel more awkward.
I'd surfboard it. I'd be standing up.
No, that's not.
Oh, I
That's
thought
not.
maybe you meant you would lie on the ground and let them stand on top of you.
I could do that.
So you're the
Step on my
surfboard.
neck, centaur.
Harder, daddy.
The safe word is keep going.
All right. Well, I'm glad we went there.
Are you?
A little bit. Oh, good question. The real Foxy Proxy, who asks, "Do centaurs have nipples on the lower half of their bodies as well?" The answer almost certainly is no, but I don't like maybe. Yeah.
Well, when I'm surfboarding it, I will take a look and let you guys know.
All right. Very good. Very good. Okay. Thanks for tuning in, where we answer all the important questions here on this stream. So the boring part of the stream is over, where you guys did all your planning, and now the exciting part of the stream happens, where you've gathered a meeting of all of the captains and you're just discussing a strategy, when all of a sudden you hear the deep, rhythmic thumping of massive drums. Everyone, once they hear it at the table, springs to their feet. Ardril takes off running.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Here's the way we're gonna do this. Ardril, come back, please. Please. Let's put the BLE on the walls. Let's put the barbarians on the walls. Let's put the cousins just inside the gate. The Wonder Guards and the 400 combat capable citizens of Wonder, we're going to use them as the pincer maneuver around the side of the gate, but we're going to kind of wait for a key moment to trigger that. The Centaur soldiers are also going to be a part of that.
Can we tell what direction the drums are coming from at this
Point of
point?
order, yeah. Are the drums coming from outside or from the mines?
It's from where you are. You can't really tell. You're gonna have to go outside to sort of get a better triangulation on this.
I guess before we finalize the tactics, let's go see what's going on outside.
I mean,
Let's
do we
get the
know?
hell out of here.
The sun.
We don't even know if this is the Draconians yet.
So daylight is not completely gone, but because you're in the mountains and you're in like the valley between the two mountain ranges,
I have dark vision.
The sun is gone. Okay. The voice in your head, by the way, Zerwin, says, "If you wanted to send someone to find those dwarves and redirect them, you better do it now." Then once you get outside, you hear that for sure the drums are coming not from inside the mines, but from outside. By this time, not everyone hears them, but several people have heard them, and there's like a slow murmur of alarm sort of being raised. You can easily get up one of the centaur ramps to the top of the wall if you'd like, or you can go to one of the towers near the gates.
I followed Zerwin.
So the drums are coming from the west?
Yes, if you look at the map of Wonder, the inn is sort of near the and the fairs, like sort of near the T and the fairs there, right? Do you see what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and then the drum sounds are coming from way up here, which is the direction you expected them to come from.
Okay. Yeah, so on the way out the door, I yell to somebody go out send a runner from the wine gate to try to intercept the dwarves and tell them to come around the lake.
I mean, don't we want them to come around the southern part of and pincer the Draconians toward the lake?
No, because the dwarves are coming from the north. It would take too long. We need to go north around the lake and come down on them from the top.
I mean, they're coming from the northeast.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming from the northeast.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, basically, yeah. You think it's going to be faster to go around the lake? I think it might be kind of equal.
The
I don't know. I can't tell with this map. How big is this lake?
If we know that the Draconians can't swim, if like let's push them into the lake.
I think you want to come from behind them.
All
Yeah,
right,
I think we want to
then
come
around the north.
So can I don't know who we're going to send. I grab one of the cousins or somebody and say, send a runner.
Argel stops and says, "I'll send a scout.
Thank you.
Give me a seal or something, some sort of mark that it's from you."
Mm,
They're not going to take an elf's orders, but he'll get there faster than anybody else will.
okay. Take, I don't know. Do we still have that ogre finger? I don't know what to fucking send him.
We give him a notarized piece of stationery that carries
Eyewitness, the notary.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, what can we send? I'm looking at my inventory. I ain't got shit.
Does your crown have anything that we could press into wax that they'd recognize?
Sure does. It's loaded with dwarven symbols.
We could press his face into wax.
That,
All right.
That'd be satisfying. Less effective, though.
Let's write something up and melt some wax, and I'll jam it against my crown without removing it.
Okay. Now we're going to go to the top of the walls?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. From the walls, you see in the fading light of day, to the north west, which is where you're looking now, over the lake would be sort of a little bit to your right, and the mountain range is both behind you and then way in the distance in front of you. But in between there's these mountain valleys which have these low rolling hills, and about maybe a mile to a mile and a half away, you see the first like torches and lanterns, and first a couple, then a couple dozen winged creatures appear on the horizon, almost certainly draconians. Then the torches multiply, and now there are hundreds, and then there are many hundreds, and then there is a line of at least 1,000 or more straight across the top of this hill, and they're just standing there as the late light fades into darkness and the drums continue to pound and night falls on Wonder, while in front of them the scene unfolds of the impending doom of several thousand draconians just watching and doing nothing.
Several thousand. Do we have can we perceive or?
You estimate
What does someone's elven eyes see?
you estimate that there are more than 1,000 lights. You don't know how many of them are carrying lights. And I understand you have dark vision, but it's a mile away.
Yeah, no, I only see for 60 feet.
Then, after a good several minutes of this, as the alarm is raised throughout the town and people start manning the walls and gathering things, you see a massive fire lit. They've taken this 15-20 minutes to stack logs, and they've lit it on fire. And then another one, and then another one, and then another. And soon there's about a dozen of these massive bonfires across the top of this hill, backlighting the hundreds or thousands of armed draconians.
So their army has better production value, is what you're telling us.
Their lighting guy is
Super good. If only we had bogos.
The drums, though, they don't
Gobos.
stop.
That's it.
The drums continue, and they don't stop.
Cool. So everyone's gonna be on the walls.
Yeah, Belga comes up and says, "You should make some sort of speech, short purple hand man."
I
I
am
was
gonna
just
give
gonna
him.
say who's gonna be doing the Braveheart speech.
I'm gonna give him the help action.
Is that like a little slap on his butt?
I mean, is everybody here? Like, I mean, the whole town can't be here.
If you are loud, most people here will hear you, and those who can't will get second-hand word. It's powerful for soldiers to hear their commander talk. The voice inside your head says, "Yeah, the big woman's right on this one. You gotta say something. Tell them they're all fucking heroes or some shit."
So Zerwin turns around, and I mean, we don't know if they're attacking yet, right? Like they're just
They don't
right
seem
now.
to be.
They won't
They-
attack in the middle of a speech. What are they, monsters?
Yeah, Ramroth
Caught
indicated
me my
that.
login.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to get these guys lathered up for us to have to sit all night.
What kind of wars do
yeah,
you
Um,
they were gonna attack at dawn, is what Ramroth told us. I'm pretty sure.
At dawn, we plan.
I might be making that up.
Yeah, well, my whole thing is I'm not going to get them riled up, and then we're going to
Sure,
sit
we can
here
do it
for
in the
the
morning.
next 12 hours. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. Make your speech whenever you want to make your speech.
So, I mean, I'm not
Just
much
do a
of,
modified St. Crispin's Day. You'll be great.
I don't know what
You
that.
gotta say something about tomorrow.
Once more into the breach. Yeah, tomorrow. That's good.
You gotta give them a tomorrow, or else they'll be scared all night and they won't sleep.
All right, so I turn and face whoever I can see, I guess. And in my head, I'm like, Marbrook, you got to help me out here. I'm not a commander.
All right. Tell them that now they are facing their fears. Tell them that now they're facing death and uncertainty. Tell them that they're all gonna die. Unless they...
Are you serious?
What the fuck do I care? I'm a commander, strategist. I lost all this shit a long time ago. On the other hand, you could tell them to stop being fucking wimps.
Ezra's gonna cast Prestidigitation on Zerwin to make his voice louder and deeper and stronger. There, I helped you.
Thank you. So I turn and I say, everyone. I was like, tonight. I mean, this is the thing. I don't know.
Just roll with it. You're doing great.
I'm going to get a flag of wonder and plant it behind him.
Tonight is what we've been planning for. It's like, out there are your fears and also your hopes. We have one chance at this. I was like, and tomorrow, when the battle commences, I was like, we will be victorious. You are all heroes. Not everyone's going to make it. But if you fight like fucking wimps, none of us are going to make it.
Yes! I like that. That was beautiful.
So sack up and get ready.
Nothing's as inspirational as saying nut up to a bunch of people.
Did you tell them to sack up?
Yeah, you don't think I should have said that?
No, it was good. It was good. It was good. I liked it.
Oh, that was the best fucking speech I've ever heard. 10 out of 10, no regrets.
It's really good.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's Zerwin, then the Pirates of the Caribbean speech, then Braveheart. Like, Zerwin's at the top.
Then St. Crispin's Day.
Then St. Crispin's Day. Yeah, fuck Shakespeare.
In all seriousness, though, I'm not much on speeches, but you're gonna want to make sure you have enough archers and ranged things on the wall. Make them sleep in shifts, and make them sleep. And you gotta make sure that at any given time, everyone has access to every part of the city, which means you need people on the back of the wall and the front of the wall. And if I were you, I'd send out a couple scouts right now.
Okay.
Just a dozen.
So I turn to Ardril's still standing here, right?
Yeah. He says,
Ardril.
inspiring.
Well,
Elves don't need to sleep.
I didn't choose this, but I need you to send scouts out right now, all at probably all directions around the city, so that we know what we're truly up against.
I'm issuing commands that potable water be brought to the to all the positions that we're going to be defending, and that food is going to be starting to be made because they're going to start getting hungry with all this.
Good idea, he says. We'll get a count, and we'll get precise locations.
I grumble under my breath. God, I wish Matilda was here. And
Where's
then
my comfort toad when I need her?
Is Zerwin's is his necklace glowing?
It is not.
Okay.
So, I say, so how many archers do we have? I'm looking at our thing here. You got it written down. The cousins are all infantry, right?
The cousins are all specialized troops, actually. So you got to think of them as like shock troops.
Okay. So are there any barbarian archers? Probably
Nope.
not.
No, so the townsfolk have all been trained with spear and bow, and that's it. Like
Okay.
none of them can really use a sword, right? Like, which
Yep.
is fine because they don't have swords. So you've
Okay.
got several hundred archers and spearmen who are basically wearing clothes.
So, Jana, I'm going to put you in front of the archers, or in charge of the archers. So we need them all around the walls. We need them to sleep in shifts, and everybody has to sleep. And like I said, get ready. Make sure we have runners for arrows, spears, and any backup bows. I actually think I agree with Dorna. We want some of this fighting to happen outside the city, because if they start exploding, Wonder is mostly wood. So
Okay.
I would prefer not to have, um, you know, dragons exploding near wood and starting fires in the city. So Gelidus, you go. Oh, and you go on the opposite side. No, I'm just kidding. You're gonna go with him. I think you should take the barbarians outside the walls and give them a little space.
Okay.
We'll show them how little men fight.
Hey, purple-haired man.
Yeah.
What do you want the druids to do? Would you like them to be healing or fighting? They will want to fight, but they will heal if I tell them to.
Yeah, we're gonna need them to probably heal.
At least until they can be
Until
relieved
they
by the
can't
dwarven clerics.
anymore.
Yeah, until they have to fight. The commandos, Ardril, can we get your mages? What's your mages range?
There's only
Probably-
two.
Oh, we only have
I
two
thought we
left.
had 3.
Oh, sorry. No, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. There's three. You have three. You have 3 mages, and they're, Ezra can tell you exactly what their spells ranges are because he has access to all their spells pretty much.
So Ezra, we probably don't want them on the walls, right?
Depends on how far out you are putting the barbarians.
I mean, I'd like them. You said they're a mile away.
Yes.
I mean,
The
I think
voice.
we. Yep. Go ahead.
So, um, uh, Marbotam, he's like, why don't you? If they have these massive fires lit, they're not going to have very good night vision there. You're gonna be able to pick people off on the outside. Send a small group of commandos under your two best fighters, and just start picking them off on the outsides. And once they get enough attention, just have them fall back into the woods, melt away. If they get chased too far, have them come back within the range of the walls and have them, draw out what they can. This is textbook examples of ways to pick apart a larger force. You hide, you snipe, you run away. You buy time. In the morning, you're not going to be able to do it anymore. But from now until the sun rises, you've got night vision and they don't.
Okay, so let's
And
send.
the elves don't need to sleep.
Yep. So let's send the black locust eaters out. Tell Argel you guys are gonna go start um, harassing the camps. Um, fall back if you get into trouble. If they keep chasing you, bring them all the way back so we can get some help at the walls.
You going to send any of the PCs with them?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, let's send because the barbarians probably don't need us to lead them. At least not yet. So why don't we send the sneaky little Kender and Owen, who's known for his stealth and his full plate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Why
I'm
don't you
like an
guys?
oven being kicked down the stairs.
Why don't the two of you, one of you roll, and the other one give the help action to see how much you're going to help these elves out? And I'm going to make you.
What are we rolling?
It's going to be a pure. You can either roll wisdom. Yeah, I mean you're probably best rolling wisdom here.
Okay, I will help Gelidus with the wisdom.
So just a straight up wisdom, not like an insight roll.
No, it's not so much that you're trying to garner an insight, it's that you're trying to make the right moves with this group of people. Which is going to be based on experience and having solved problems. You're going to be basically your role is going to add to Ardril's role, which I'm going to roll.
Nat 20.
Ardril rolled a 19. Smoking.
So
to
help them
battle's
out
over.
as well.
Battle's over. They win. Sorry, go
to
ahead.
help them out as well, I'm going to grant them the enhanced night vision, so I can give up to 4 willing individuals 300 feet worth of night vision. So I'll ask Ardril who he wants to have that extended night vision.
Okay.
Ezra, what do you think about having the cousins loop around the outside of town and
On the north side of the lake?
no, coming from the south? Well, I guess so. We're sending the barbarians probably out the Copper Road gate. Then I assume is where they have to go out. And we're
What
going
do
to
you want them to
The other
do?
one, it would be longer.
I want them to engage. I want them to be our frontline engaging force when the Draconians get here.
Okay. Do you want them to fall back once they encounter resistance? Marbotum advises you to, if you send out this guerrilla warfare force, to keep everyone else on the walls as much as possible, because otherwise you're going to be, your guerrilla warfare is not going to be effective because the bulk of the body is going to move to engage the barbarians. You want to send the barbarians out in the daytime to do an action? That's another thing, but at night they're not going to be able to see it all.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. I just we're not. I know. it's nighttime before the battle. We're not actually
They're a
battling.
mile away,
Yeah.
and we have scouts out there, so we're gonna know when they're moving, and
Okay.
we should have time to send the barbarians out the gate to move in front of the city at that point.
Okay.
All right. Owen and Gelidus. I'm gonna deal with you guys first. Your actions are extremely successful. Everyone rolled really well. You catch whole parties of them out like scavenging for more wood, and you just slaughter them. The black locust eaters are terrifying in the night. Um, they're really good at what they do, and you're this is going to take you most of the night, and then you're going to get exhausted and come back in, basically. So your total kills are 92. Um, in return, you have lost 16 black locust eaters, and Gelidus takes an arrow wound, which has been poisoned, and you will have to use spell slots to cure yourself.
Right.
You said we lost
Uh,
16.
I should heal you.
Okay.
So I'll do lesser restoration.
It's only 8 points of damage, but the poison is the bad part.
No, I mean, like, I get it. I just don't want. He's more important as a spellcaster.
Okay.
So restoration cures the poison, right?
Yeah.
All right.
You
Okay.
said that we lost 16 of the BLE, right?
Yes. Could you mark that down, please?
I did.
Thank
Could
you.
we use any spells to try to limit that?
You are. Yeah. It's like you don't have time really to stop and heal people. It's like you got to hit and you got to run. It's incredibly effective. So of those 16 Black Lotus Eaters that are down, only 6 of them are dead outright. The other 10 are carried back to the city to be healed by the druids. However, those 10 are all poisoned and all out. Like you can heal their wounds, but their constitution is effectively 0 for
We put
20.
them out of their misery, of course.
Okay.
I'm
The next thing that happens is, sorry, I gotta go back to my notes here. On the walls, Ezra, Dirk, where are you guys gonna go? What are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, I'll need to sleep at some point. I'm gonna be. I mean, if I on Owlbear Rodeo, I kind of put myself here.
I see
I
you.
figured that was a good spot.
Right. So let me ask you this first: do you guys want to sleep first shift or second shift?
First, yeah, first because they're less likely to attack during the first shift.
Okay. So you both sleep 5 hours, and then you come out sometime around 1 in the morning.
Is that a long rest?
No.
Cool.
And Jana, how about you? First, you want to sleep first or second shift?
First.
Okay, same for you then. Okay, so you missed the first attack on the walls. It is just spikes and ropes. They circle around, but they are detected by the Elven scouts, so you have warning, and they attempt to climb the very, very thick ice walls. It looks like just a probing action. It's repelled fairly easily. You lose like 2 villagers. In return, and actually both of them were killed by exploding draconians that got to the top of the wall. All the rest of the draconians were knocked off the wall, and none of them made it to the top. Then just before dawn,
Do we
about
know?
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Do we know how many draconians died in their scouting action?
2.
So we lost 2 villagers and 2 draconians died.
Yep. I'll keep track of the Draconians. You just keep track of your forces.
Okay.
Just before dawn, you get word from the Elven scouts that there is a large force of about 100 or so approaching with ladders. They are approaching directly in front, basically right from the front of their lines. So from the northwest.
Okay. Zerwin?
Are they stretching all the way to the lake at this point?
Yes. For the most part, they're like, whatever, 50, 60 yards from the lake, where the hill goes down to the lake. And they're not down to the lake shore, but like, for the most part.
All right. Well, actually, let's get the barbarians up on the walls to support. I think they're going to be better at knocking off ladders and trying to keep people off the wall than our villagers will be.
Okay.
Let's have the cousins ready to go near the Copper Road entrance,
Okay.
Copper Road gate, just in case we do want to send something out.
And
Can we tell how big this force is?
it's about 100. So Jana, Ezra, and Dirk, do you want to be up on top of the walls for this assault since you know it's coming?
Yup.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in the spot that I am, but basically wherever the attack is coming.
Yeah, the spot you're at is right where they're coming.
I figured.
We've heard nothing from the scouts on the east side of town, right?
No.
Okay.
All right. So Dirk and Jana, if you guys would like to roll to assist the archers, one of you can help and one of you can make a wisdom roll. And then Ezra, if you want to cast anything into this scrum, you are welcome to. Oh, he has his headphones off. So one of you takes the help action, and the other one of you makes a wisdom roll.
Do the wisdom roll.
Okay. So then I roll the help action.
You don't even have to do. You just say you give the help action.
Okay, I give the help action.
Ooh,
So you get advantage. So roll again.
better.
What'd you get?
Oh, much better.
18.
Okay.
Total?
Yeah. 13 plus 5.
Okay, Ezra, do you want to fire any spells off into this scrum that's coming at you? It's challenge by choice.
Can I, like, if I threw a fireball at him, it would just hit in the middle and get a bunch of them, right? There wouldn't be any friendly fire.
No friendly fire. You want to cast fireball?
Yes, I will do one fireball. Let's make it the one that's in my +1 quarterstaff.
What's the damage on that again?
It is 8d6, and it is a Dex 16 saving throw.
Go ahead and make your damage roll.
22.
Okay, Jenna, will you roll a d20? Just a regular d20.
Four.
Excellent. Okay.
Wait, out of 20? Hold on. I'm gonna spend danger awesome points to give her a reroll on that. Right? I'm guessing she wants to roll high, right? It's D&D. So that's 10 danger awesome points. You get to roll again.
Okay.
The
Wow.
suspense. Is that another 4?
I rolled 4 again.
That's amazing. That's so worth it. You guys are the best. I love you guys.
Thanks,
Okay.
Ezra. Sorry.
It's the thought that counts. Okay. So 8 of these draconians and one of the ladders bursts into flame and sends them scattering. The archers take down another ladder. 4 ladders make it to the walls where a skirmish takes place. Dirk and Jana, you can pitch into that skirmish if you'd like. Either way, here's what happens. So 18 barbarians are wounded. No, sorry. 15 are dead and 7 are wounded. And another 30 draconians are wounded or killed. And then the sortie is driven off. Those are the actions that happen in the night. And then, just before dawn, just as the light rises and the fires, the huge smoldering piles of cinders and ash from those massive bonfires they built are sort of shifting down into nothingness. You see something else appear on the hill. There seems to be 2 things on wheels being pushed to the top of the hill. You've never seen anything like them before. They're sort of maybe 10-foot long tapering cylinders made of dragon metal with some odd symbols on the side. Next to each one is a huge cart that is rolled up also.
So not like a ram.
No.
I'm pretty sure you just described 2 Jeep Cherokees.
Mm.
I hope they got cloud insurance on those.
You're not exactly sure what they are, but there's some it takes a little bit for these things to get set up, and all the draconians fall back when that happens. And then a peal of thunder rings out from one of these things, and some sort of projectile shoots out from the front of it and slams into the wall because these motherfuckers brought magic cannons. And a huge chunk of ice falls off the wall and exposes the wood beneath as the next one lines up and fires and puts one in the dirt in front of the wall.
How close are they?
They're almost a mile away. The sound itself is so loud that it echoes across the plains and off the mountain walls. It must be able to heard from 50 miles away. And these projectiles that are being shot are some sort of heavy round ball made from some sort of slag metal that is
The
slamming into
projectile-
the sides.
I mean, the projectile is probably hit before we hear the sound, too. You would think. Which would make it that much scarier.
Yeah, I mean, they're fairly close together, but yeah. Everyone, there is a tangible, shiver of fear from the entire defending force of Wonder as a huge chunk of ice falls from your thick defenses and shatters into pieces on the ground, exposing just a thin sheen of ice and the wood beneath. And that's where we're going to end tonight, with the city being bombarded by cannons, of which no one here has any experience until now.
Just 2 bummer summer endings in a row here, guys.
So the good news is that tonight you killed more than 100 draconians, and you lost very few forces in exchange. And the other piece of good news is that everyone did their jobs very well. Your losses were minimal, right? Your losses were around 30, and they lost more than 100. So right now you're killing at 3-1, which is a good ratio if you can continue this. Bad news is you got to figure out how to stop whatever the fuck is bombarding the war machines, are bombarding your city. And where are the dwarves? Question mark. How long before they get here? Question mark.
Can we see any sort of explosions happening at the cannon?
There does seem to be fire spitting from the mouths of these cannons. Now that you mention it.
And when it got set up, did we see how they loaded it, or was it already loaded?
So essentially, they're functioning just like regular cannons. You're not sure about the details. If like the symbols carved on the side, you can't make them out. You can just see that there are symbols. The
Yeah,
metal is
it's a mile
glowing.
away.
Yeah.
We probably can't see them very well. I mean, how big are the spheres? The
The projectiles, the
Yeah.
cannonballs, 6 inches to 8 inches.
Oh my god, that's enormous. That's like a sixth as tall as me. Those go out to my knees.
One whole back.
Pretty much everyone who sees these things like fire loses their shit. Like, what the fuck is that? How the fuck are they doing that? Why is it making that terrifying noise? Why is it spitting fire? How is it destroying our walls? What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Oh, we're the dwarves in Thorbarden. We've repelled all kinds of things. Our fortress is impenetrable. God, I'm gonna smack those dwarven queens right across the face the next time I see them.
Hold. Okay.
Hold them. War machines.
Listen.
Kind of thing you've never seen before.
You guys have really built up to this, and this is like you're in it now. The battle has begun proper. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next, and feel free to use the downtime channel this week. And we will meet next week. I'm just going to warn you now that when this chapter finishes, which will probably take you at least 2 or 3 more game sessions, when this chapter finishes, I'm going to take a probably 2-week break to outline the next chapter. So we'll space it out a week. We'll figure it out scheduling wise to make it work best for everybody. Assuming everyone survives, or assuming any of you survives. I mean, of course you'll survive. What am I talking about? I'm gonna give all of you a danger awesome point this evening, because I think you'll need it, and also because I'm interested to see what happens. And you should give out danger awesome points now. And also, anyone who is listening who would like to vote for someone to get a danger awesome point, type that character's name in chat, and whoever gets the most votes will get an extra danger awesome point from you, the crowd.
Jana
Ezra's
can
gonna
have
get mine.
Jana can have mine for rolling 2 4s in a row. Very dangerous.
Ezra's gonna
Ezra
get mine
gets
for
mine because it was really nice of him to give me another chance, even though apparently I'm on a roll.
Thank you,
Uh,
Gelidus.
I'm giving mine to Geldis. I think he had the only nat 20 today. Dirk, did you have a nat 20?
Hit an at 20. But
Dirk
it
in
didn't
the first
matter.
20.
I'm giving it to Geldis because that was a good, harrying session that you and the Black Locust Eaters went out and did.
Give mine to Zerwin for saying sack up.
Yeah, I'll give mine to Zerwin as well for his inspirational speech.
No notes.
No notes. Perfect 10.
I have. I
Zach,
have.
he'll be pleased to know that that chat wants to give the Danger Awesome point to whoever banged the Minotaur like literally 4 months ago. So
Look at Jenna's
I don't
face.
remember that.
He put the moves on.
Why?
why not?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Becky is a
If,
What are
if
lovely
we're not
woman.
doing
here?
if we're not doing that, what's it all for? That's I
Flipping
don't.
vows must have been amazing.
What are we doing this for? If not to, you know,
I can't believe I joined this party.
Yeah.
You bang 1 Minotaur and suddenly you have a reputation.
I forget how. Oh, because I got into a fight, and Becky broke it up.
So you banged a Minotaur.
Yeah, she's the one who broke up the fight.
But do they call me Tom the Roofer? No. To bang 1 Minotaur.
She's a lovely woman.
She really is pretty great. Zerwin, you get an extra Danger Awesome point from the crowd. Can write that down. And there's not enough people on to give away a dice set this week, but I'm sure there will be next week as all my students return from spring break, which is the majority of our viewership. And I wanted to say one other piece of good news. Something that you may not have noticed so far, but is definitely good news for Wonder, is that you have not seen Rhymeroth. And you'd think he'd be noticeable.
Except he has polymorph.
Does have polymorph, so he could be hiding literally anywhere in the city right now.
Well, there's that, and he could be taking the shape of a humanoid just as a draconic action, right? In addition to having polymorph as a spell, we think.
Because of his escape tunnel.
Right.
All right,
Let's hope he's a squirrel.
We should
Yeah.
kill all the squirrels.
We should
It's-
kill every squirrel.
I mean, I'm not going to say you shouldn't kill the squirrels. They're also delicious for what it's worth. I'm going to end the stream there for everybody to. Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.
See you
Welcome
next
back from
week.
spring break.